Now that your React Native application has fully developed, go ahead and navigate into your project folder. You can do that by doing cd to do master if you're not already in there. Within this folder, let's run a very useful command, react native run iOS. This is going to launch your React Native application. It's also going to give you a lot of feedback on the terminal. This is React launching a bunch of scripts to launch a development server for you within another terminal window, and also to launch the iOS simulator to go ahead and show off your React Native application. Now this is going to take a little time to fully load, so we're going to go ahead and go into a new tab. We're going to navigate to our project, and then I'm going to open my code editor. You can use Atom, Sublime Text, brackets, or whatever you prefer to edit your files. For me, I like to use Atom. It's supported by GitHub and is very customizable. This is a React Native file structure. We have an Android folder and an iOS folder, which both hold respective files for creating our applications, so iOS and Android. We have a Node Modules folder, which holds all the scripts necessary to convert our JavaScript into the necessary code for the iOS and Android devices. And then we have two very important files, index.ios.js as well as index.android.js, which look almost exactly the same. This is our actual React code. So here in the middle, you can see JavaScript XML, or JSX for short, and this is the HTML-like markup, which is used to create the components and the views and the text of our application. We also have an import statement at the top, so here we're importing specific components and features from React and React Native. As you scroll down, we can also see some basic styling, and this looks very similar to CSS, but once again is still JavaScript right here within our React file. So the first thing that we're going to do is create our own React component. To do that, I'm going to create a new folder within To Do Master. I'm going to call this src, or source. Within this folder, I'm going to create a new file called main.js. The reason why we're creating this main component is that I only want to edit the code once to update both the Android and the iOS applications. A component is anything that you see on the screen in a React Native application. Whether it's the text, the view, or an input field, those are all components. To make our own components, it's pretty simple. We just need to return some JSX within a render function. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to import React from React. But then we're making a component, so we should also import that component feature of React. And then we're going to import some things from React Native. So let's import the style sheet, the text, and the view from React Native. And then we're going to go ahead and cut down on some lines by just doing module.exports equals react.createClass, which is a little different from that class extend structure and exporting down here. We can save a few lines by just doing module.exports equals react.createClass. So within our React class, let's go ahead and add a render method. And then we're going to return some JSX within here. So let's return a view. Let's return some text. And we're just going to say to do master, or the name of our application. Go ahead and save that. Let's go ahead and see what our application looks like. So don't worry if your simulator looks like this. You simply need to refresh. And there we go. That's our basic React Native application. As we can see here, we still have the default styling and text of the original index.ios.js. That's because we haven't imported that main component that we just created. So to do that, we're going to use the import syntax, import a main component from the current directory, the src folder, as well as main. So you can import your own custom components just like you're importing these view components and the text component and the style sheet component from React Native itself. And because we imported this main component now, we can simply use it within our JSX within the render method. I'm going to delete all of this and simply write main, and I'm going to have a self-enclosing component by just putting this slash here. I'm going to save this and let's see what it looks like. And there we go. there's our custom React Native component. Now, if yours didn't reload automatically when you press save, just like me, that's because you have to enable hot reloading within your application. The way you launch this development menu is by pressing Command D on the simulator. Later on, you also want to enable Remote.js debugging so it launches a Chrome debugger menu for you. So that way we'll have the ability to console log our JavaScript in the future and really understand what's going on in the background of our applications. So our application is actually looking really good. We did a great job successfully creating our first component. However, there's a lot of ways we can improve it. For example, we don't want it behind this iOS status bar.